Ari Melber is MSNBC's chief legal correspondent, the host of The Beat with Ari Melber, and he joins me now. Good to see you, man.
Great to see you.
Okay. What's your the Seltzer lawsuit feels like one of those sort of like press release dressed up as a lawsuit at one level. At another level, there really has been a worrying trend in the gates opening and judges letting more of these forward. How do you take it?
The suing of a pollster for a poll you didn't like in a field where polls, when done right, have a variation is completely frivolous unless through discovery you find some new consumer fraud plot. Right. They have not yet shown that evidence.
There has been, it's not just Robinson, it's not just Trump. We've seen Elon Musk go after Media Matters with the lawsuit. And I want to be clear here, like we're a little biased because we're reporters, and I generally think the free press is important, and I think the standard for defamation should be high. Also, there are legitimate instances of defamation, and it's important for people not to be defamed and for us to get it right and do our best to get it right. In general, what do you make of this sort of lawsuit fuselage coming from Trump?
Well, one, you're right about the disclosures, so we can be honest with the audience about that. We have an expertise about this as journalists, but we have a view that journalism is a good thing that should flourish and not be stomped out. And you can add to that, I practiced First Amendment law when I used to litigate, so you can say all of that. I have defended journalists' rights in this arena. Having said all that, there is a way to look at this, hopefully, for what's good for the country. And it has been a nonpartisan, long tradition dating back to the fourth estate of the founders' verbiage that this was key to the facts and sunlight of a democracy and common facts. It's very clear that there's a deliberate, orchestrated strategy here. I thought your report showed many of the key aspects, which was excellent. Rachel has tracked Peter Thiel, who funded anonymous lawsuits against journalists years ago and even ended up bankrupting Gawker, which, whatever its sins, and the courts did find mistakes, it was a corporate death penalty for a mistake in journalism. And so there's a big question here about, A, what they want to do, whether win or lose, to chill, as you've reported. And then, B, we should keep an eye on this. There are a lot of right-wing figures who want to bring the key First Amendment case here that protects journalists and has a high standard for reporting on public officials in the government. They want to get it to the Supreme Court, which means they might like a Trump-related loss that they can appeal all the way to Trump's Supreme Court.
This is really key. So first of all, the context here is that Trump's been doing this forever. This is what he does. In the 1980s, he was a real estate developer. He sued the Chicago Tribune when its architecture writer described his proposed Manhattan skyscraper as ugly monstrosity. The suit was dismissed. He lost defamation suits against media groups, including CNN and NY and the New York Times. Now, a critic saying something's an ugly monstrosity is like core First Amendment speech. Like, it must be the case.
It's what protects Donald Trump's rights to insult so many people in public.
Exactly, which, again, core protected. But your point about, so you've got a bunch of people, Thiel, Musk, Trump, this is the way they want to go after the press. The worrying thing is what judges are doing with it. And the key case, if you could explain to people, which is Sullivan, which sets the standard, legendary case. We already have Clarence Thomas, I think, on the record in some dissents being like, Sullivan's wrong, we should overrule it. Conservative judges may be looking at that, looking to get sort of teed up a case to open the floodgates to this kind of thing.
Yeah, this is the key case that gives reporters in America and others talking about public figures such robust rights. Other countries don't necessarily have this. You might have narrower free speech, and it's from a civil rights era ruling that basically found that it's a higher standard to actually be sued out of existence or end up paying big amounts when you are reporting on discussing public figures, that you have to basically prove that a statement was not only false, but it was knowingly false, a lie, or made so recklessly that you didn't even check it out.
Right.
And this is where your expertise comes in. You, the team at All In, MSNBC reporters, the ABC reporters, if you want to take folks who are not us, do a great deal of work all day to fact-check things to the best of their ability before it makes air. And if they make a mistake, then they try to correct it. And a little footnote, if I may, on the ABC case that may interest people. I thought you did a very precise job of referring to the underlying facts. Even after settling, and we could debate whether ABC should have settled what many lawyers thought was a winnable case, but people settle for different reasons. You'll notice the statement they agreed upon, along with paying this money back, did not refer in ABC's agreed statement to a falsehood. It said, we regret the statements. And that's the deal they struck. And so that's another big difference is most reputable outlets, if we find out something's false, we correct it. They didn't do that then. And again, other people can debate it. We're all here to discuss. But their statement said we regret the statements.
And if I'm not mistaken, and man, I hope I'm not, as I'm about to say this on live TV, since we just had this conversation, the plaintiffs in Sullivan were folks that did not like the New York Times coverage of the civil rights, in what was going on in terms of civil rights movements
and there
in
was
the South.
Publishing of, and you get into real deep First Amendment issues like, are you publishing information or reporting when you're publishing names of people involved in the struggle or in the donations?
Right. So you've got this protection there, the court, we don't know what's happened. You've got these civil lawsuits, which I think we're going to see. Then there's the thing he says, which is, I wish the Justice Department should have done it.
Yeah,
but that's left to me. So that's the other big question where we're heading towards.
They ought to do something really melts into we.
Right. And that would be pretty unprecedented. I mean, I don't think we've seen a Justice Department go after the free press, either civilly or criminally. Certainly not in my lifetime, not for a long time. Ari Melber, of course, host of The Beat, weekdays at 6 p.m. right here on MSNBC. It's great to have you.
Great to see you.
Thank you.